Hi, I'm Dr. Carrie Moorfeld. Welcome back to the Wildlife Conservation Career Series. Today I'm going to share just a quick story, and I think it just stems from, we just started the semester again, and I'm teaching, and I really like to help students, and so maybe this helps some students listening today. So I once got a 49% on a biology exam. Yeah, that's kind of embarrassing to even say, but I'm going to share this with you because I hope it helps. I had a 49%. And when I studied, and I studied a lot, and I was a good student in terms of like doing what they said I should do. So I took the advice, I read the chapter, and I did all the chapter questions, just like the professor had recommended. And then I just bombed it. Like I got into the exam, and I'm like, what is this? Like the terms are familiar, but I really didn't know how to apply them. So anyway, next exam comes around, and I decide I need to do this my own way, my own path. And instead of just reading the chapter and doing the question, I looked at the figures, because typically the figures are the most important concepts in the textbook. I looked at the figures, and I just studied those without reading the text first. And I tried to like come up with, what are they trying to tell me? What's here? And I would write to the side, like everything going on in that figure. And then I used the text to confirm what I was writing, if it was correct, and to fill in the blanks. And then I got such a good clarity around what I was supposed to be learning, just because I'm so visual and I like to see the big picture of things and how they connect. And then I can hone in on the details. And so next exam comes around, and I got a 94%, 94. So I learned that sometimes the path that you're taught or that works for other people doesn't necessarily apply to you as an individual. And it's definitely, you owe it to yourself to figure out your path in many different areas, not just academics, but I'm using this as an example. Because from that moment, I learned like, hey, like you are an individual and you need to figure out what works for you. People are always great, and trying to give you advice on how to do things. But at the end of the day, you really have to figure out what works for you and what feels good with you and your soul, and to get you the best results. And so you feel, the information and you know what you're doing, and you can do the next thing. So that was a quick story. So how does this relate to your wildlife career? This relates because in this career, so many people throughout their career, just starting, mid-career, end of school, always have this question of what should I do with my life? What should I do with this degree? What should I be, right? And I just ask yourself to give yourself some grace if you don't have that answer. Because all you really need to do is be completely present in where you are now, and don't be afraid to take that next step, following examples or following breadcrumbs, basically, opportunities that arise that aren't by accident. So following that path that's uniquely yours and not being afraid to do that. So what this is saying is you don't have to have it all figured out. You don't have to say, I'm going to be X when I grow up. I still don't know, right? All I know is I'm loving what I'm doing. I feel I'm contributing to the world and to people and to animals. It feels good, and it feels in alignment with my unique skill set. The minute that doesn't feel right, I can self-examine and reflect on how I need to pivot. So I'm asking you to do that, regardless of where you are in your career path. And this is regardless of academics and studying. Writing papers, how you perform in a job, what do you want to do, right? This all applies by just making your own path, what feels good, and then stepping back to evaluate what worked and didn't. So maybe you're one of those people who you're in a career, you've had this specific job in wildlife biology for a long time. And everybody knows this is what you do. This is your path. Look at you. But inside you're like, I feel like this isn't quite right. This was good while it was good. But now I'm feeling something, I need to change this or move on. And so you take that feeling and you go do something else for a while. And I ask you just to give yourself some grace on taking that leap to figure out one of two things. Either you realize you want to go back to where you were, or you realize, dang, I should have left a lot sooner, right? one of two things happen. But what it does, it gives you clarity about where you are in your journey. And it gives you some peace about your current step. You don't have to know what you're doing in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, but you have to be open to new opportunities. You have to be open to taking a step back, evaluating where you are and where you want to go. And how does that feel? How does that connect with your unique gifts and abilities? And do you need to pivot? Or are you in a place where you just feel so stinking good with your career, now you just want to share it and embrace it and live it? Then do that. But I bet if you're listening to this, you want to know how to make it better or what to do. I say follow the breadcrumbs, follow those key lessons and opportunities that are there, they're lining up for you, right? So don't be afraid to explore those, even if it's outside of what you thought you were going to do. Again, you can always return, right? And you'll have more clarity around it of how you can contribute in a more unique way, or in a way that's more in alignment with your core values, etc. So don't be afraid to make your own path. It doesn't have to be what society thinks. Maybe you don't feel in your soul it's right just to do the school job. Maybe you need to do school and then go work in the field for a while. Explore different career paths. Do different internships. That's why internships are great. They're not as long of a commitment, right? Give yourself the opportunity to explore, because then that will give you clarity around what you should do next. And many times you won't even know your opportunities or the options that are out there unless you're opening yourself up to different experiences. So that's my lesson for today, is don't be afraid to make your own path. Like I said, I still don't know, but what I do know is I will find joy in service and sharing in whatever I'm doing. And if for a while, or if at a moment I feel like what I'm doing isn't doing that anymore, that's time for me to reevaluate and pivot. So hope you enjoyed the lesson today. Have a great Tuesday if you're listening to this on a Tuesday. I encourage you to subscribe to this. It's new, it's a journey. I'm also trying to figure out what you want to most hear about, so I can be more service to those listening. So message me if you have questions or comments, and I'd love to help you on your journey. Bye.